Holy cow, I think I can see the Hollywood sign. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the American Space Museum program Stay Curious. I'm Marquette, looking out a Blue Origin window here because tomorrow William Shatner, the star of the Star Trek some of the Star Trek movies, star of that series, is going to suborbital space tomorrow. And he's going to be looking at this view out these beautiful big windows of the Blue Origin New Shepard spacecraft with three other people. We're going to talk about that because the Star Trek world is eat up with it, I want to tell you. And we're going to have our Trekkie Techie Jessica Galloway come on in front of the camera here in a minute and share why is this everyone going crazy about this. But we are also looking at space from where three Russians looked at, all right, in 1963, and we had three Americans in space this date in history. But let's kick it off first with a little bit of gratitude for this gentleman, Chuck Jeffrey. Thank you, Chuck. The American Space Museum, because of him, raised about, we don't know how much we raised, but we had our auction Saturday, and it was a very big success. Our 17th auction that this man Chuck has conducted, Chuck Jeffrey, Bid Again Auctions. He is a space memorabilia expert for more than 30 years, and we're so grateful that he has loves this museum as much as all of us do. And without Chuck, the museum might have closed 4 or 5 years ago, or even 3 years ago. And so we put a plaque out there acknowledging almost $500,000 he has brought in this museum, over $400,000 in the last 6 or 7 years. So we are very grateful to Chuck and grateful to you all that bid till it hurt. And Marty Winkle, my cameraman and co-producer, was one of those that got a couple beautiful things that he wanted, a beautiful Apollo Alan Bean reproduction. So thank you, Chuck, and thank you all that participated in our auction. The next one's December 4th, and it'll be here at the American Space Museum. And next up is Jessica Galloway. There's Jessica. You're going to see her in a few minutes. She's got in her hands there our gift basket from the Apollo era. And I think I'm yelling too much because I got a microphone in front of me. Sorry about that, folks. But there's Jessica with the Apollo Legacy gift basket worth over $200. You can get a ticket for that for $5. Go to our American Space Museum website and click donate, and you can put $5 on your PayPal. We'll put your name in the hat, and we're going to pull this out probably in a couple weeks. We haven't picked a date yet because we were closed a few weeks, and we're going to, you can win this, a lot of cool stuff in there. Like I said, over $200, even some original lithographs from Johnson Space Center, so you want to get in on that. And next up we have, on this date in 1964, at the demands of Soviet Union Premier Nikita Khrushchev, now a space spectacular launched 3 men in a spaceship designed for one. They put these gentlemen, they're shown in kind of an unusual picture. They had these wool-like spacesuits on in the Vostok spacecraft that Yuri Gagarin rode to space. You're going to see it here in just a minute, how small it was. And 5 other cosmonauts, including Valentina Tereshkova, the last one to fly solo and the only woman to fly solo in space ever. They put 3 guys inside this spacecraft to do a space spectacular. President Khrushchev was very big into the propaganda that communism was the best, and communism all down the line, the women, the men were superior. Growing up as a baby boomer, you realize what a mental barrage that was on us. We knew very little about the Russian space program, called Soviet Union at the time, and when this risky 3-man spaceflight landed 24 hours later, without spacesuits, no escape system, Khrushchev was ousted from power and Brezhnev had taken over. Americans knew little about this flight. This single seat, by the way, these 2 of these gentlemen never flew again. The one on the far right died, Komarov, died in the Soyuz 1 spaceflight tragedy. The guy on the left was a physician, and the guy in the middle was the designer of the spacecraft, okay? And they literally just piled them in there on top of each other. They just weren't touching each other. One guy was laying across the other while the two guys were sitting in front of each other. Very risky. I say it is one of the riskiest, if not the riskiest, space flight of all time. Marty, my co-producer, points out that STS-1 might have been just as dangerous, with John Young and Bob Crippen flying a spacecraft that had never been flown unmanned before, and I give him that. That was also very brave. But what the free world didn't know was that this was pretty much trumped up to say that not only we put 2 men in space before you did, we put 3 men in space. So they had ended up miraculously okay. They were going to stay a couple days. This is what it looked like cramped inside that Voskhod 1 spacecraft. Then 2 cosmonauts in March of 1964 went up in Voskhod 2, and Alexei Leonov was one, and he did the space walk, for spacewalk. There is this cramped spacecraft. Those of you that have seen these Soyuz for your own eyes can't hardly believe one person would get in it, let alone 3. And of course, the Vostok, they ejected out this side in a MiG-like ejection seat and landed on parachutes. Well, with the 3 cosmonauts, they couldn't do that, and they actually softened the landing by putting on the parachute cables retro rockets to slow it down, if you can imagine that. So, well, we also want to talk about America's first flight in space with 3 people, and that was in this date. Yesterday they launched, October 11th, 1968 was when we launched Wally Schirra, the commander, Don Isley, and Walt Cunningham, who's age 89. That's Walt on the far right and Wally in the middle and Don Isley on the left. The liftoff was 11 a.m. on October 11th, 1968. Apollo 7 lifted off the pad 34, where about 18 months before their colleagues had died in the Apollo 1 fire. This again was a seminal moment in America's space program where this had to work, or probably we weren't going to the moon, at least by the end of the decade. But it was a perfect 11-day mission. The only thing people talk about this mission was that all 3 of them got colds. They got irritable. They got tired of NASA sending them more things to do, and kind of said, we need a day to chill out. And Wally Schirra was going to retire after this mission, so there was some controversy. Were they a little insubordinate? Well, they might have been, because they were tired and cranky. Then Wally Schirra came back and he did Actifid commercials for cold medicine. And he was also beside Walter Cronkite with a tear in his eye when his buddies Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin landed on the moon on July 1969. But we wouldn't have done it without this wonderful mission here of Apollo 7. So, well, with that, we're going to switch to this crew in space, and we're going to go Shatner crazy and Star Trek crazy here. I'm going to bring our co-producer, and she's our technical assistant that has done wonders to help our show here. Welcome Jessica Galloway. Here, Jessica, sit down there. She's got her Shatner shirt on there. All right.
Is it speckly? Is it weird? I can't see it.
No, you look good.
All
look good. You're almost. You're seeing a little bit of the Earth behind you, Marty. When you look up there, that's almost a green that shows through there. It kind of looks cool though. She's adjusting a light there, but I wanted to bring her on because she is our Trekkie techie. She loves Star Trek and everything about it. Probably had a baby onesie on with it on, maybe.
No,
and
no,
but I wanted to. Everybody knows that William Shatner, age 90, is going to the edge of space tomorrow with 3 other maybe to be astronauts. You can call them astronauts. 3 other space travelers, and their names are Chris Boson, and he has a company, Earth Observation and Planet Labs. There's a microbiologist called Glenn DeVry going up. In Blue Origin's Audrey Powers, she's vice president of the Space Passenger. She's going up to feel what it's like for a 10-minute up and down flight, 9:30 a.m. Okay,
to
Eastern
see my screen
Daylight
here,
Time,
guys.
our time. So it's going to be 8:30 in Texas. So we've got Jessica Galloway here. Tell us why you are crazy about this.
Well, it's been hot on the internet. I'm in several online communities through Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, all sorts of them, and it's a little divided. I know here you and I and Marty were talking. Oh, is Shatner going to go to space? Is he going to be able to make it? You know, he's 90, which it's 8 years past the next oldest
Wally
person.
Funk, the Mercury 7 lady astronaut, Mercury 13 lady astronaut.
So,
She was 82.
82. So Pat puts him at 90, which is a whole thing, you know. But he's really excited. Blue Origin's been sharing some really awesome tweets.
Yeah, we're going to share some of those with you here.
On the next picture.
Let me go. Let's get the crew up there.
There's the crew. There's
All
the
right,
crew.
well, let me go back one there. We go, hit the wrong button there. There we go.
There we go.
Okay,
All right.
you're in front of them there. There's Shatner in the middle. And, you know, Marty and I talked about this a couple weeks ago. 90-year-old heart is what Marty's thinking about. And I've got 4 stents in my heart. Don't know how many, if Shatner has any. But certainly his cardiologist and other doctors would advise him not to do this if he wasn't.
He's apparently in surprisingly good health. He's still really active in the convention circuit. I mean, I've seen people, you know, really excited to be able to go back to cons and meet the Shat. So
that's what y'all call him, huh? The Shat.
Well, Shat.
Not to his face, but
well, I think he's all right with it. People say it to him online, but he's been tweeting like crazy. You know, he loves the Twitter. Whoever he has.
Why I keep doing that?
No, that's
I gotta
fine.
keep
That's the
going. I
next
keep
one.
that is your card.
That's my other ride's a Starship.
That's your other ride's
My other
a
ride's
Starship.
a Starship. I got my NC-1701.
That's the numbers of Enterprise.
Yes, of course.
We celebrate Enterprise. That was the name that Star Trekkies lobbied for the orbiter Enterprise that did the approach and landing tests. Very important. A program to prove that they could take this orbiter and land it with wings. It went up on a 747. It's called Enterprise. I believe it's on the aircraft carrier in New York City. Is that right?
I think so. It's on the East Coast somewhere. I'm for sure. Yeah, we're getting a nod from our audience here.
There we go.
And
what am I doing here?
I think. Well, hold up. Remember, the pictures are misbehaving.
Okay.
I might need to.
There's you with some Star Trek Andy Warhol type of artwork.
I did a portrait with the first crew, the first space crew. That's one of my graphic design things that I did.
Cool.
A little drawing.
Multi-talented Jessica is. We're glad to have her here.
So this fun fact is this is Jeff Bezos. He was in the 2016, the most recent movie for Star Trek, which is Star Trek Beyond. Got a prop here today. Gonna Vanna White that.
Yeah, bring it up.
Right here to the camera.
Vanna White it, yeah.
So that's the reboot series, of course. But he was a background character. This was him. I don't know if
did he help fund this or just so he's a fan
did.
Obviously in
yeah,
there,
he's just a fan. I'm gonna.
All right. What else did you bring with us
move
there?
My face out of the way, if that's all right. Do you want to switch back to 3? Is that easy?
Oh, okay, sure.
I got a lot of swag, some Star Trek swag. I got a
Marty, can you zoom in a little bit on that?
Photo novel where no man has gone before. This is one I actually picked up an extra of. It is one of the first graphic novels.
Yeah.
It's screen caps from this specific show. It was the original one where Spock showed too much emotion, and he changed his mind about how he wanted to portray Mr. Spock. I got a few other nerdy things here. This is William Shatner's personal account of the making of Star Trek V. It's showing up pretty good on the green screen there. So I think that this was as told by Elizabeth Shatner, so I believe his daughter. So I haven't read this one yet, but I just recently got it. I was able to grab a signed autograph.
There you go.
Of Mr. Shatner. He did a few of the online conventions through GalaxyCon, and I tuned in and I said, you know what? Shatner's 90 years old. What happens if he's not able to go back to conventions? It's addressed to me, and I did a one-on-one interview with him. It was a minute long, not enough time in the world, but I offered tech support to Captain Kirk. on
I'm
the house.
looking at that after seeing a lot of astronaut autographs over our
Is it? Yeah,
auction
I'm gonna
days
have,
in
I'm
there.
gonna have
That's
Chuck
not. He
look at it.
doesn't write a very legible.
No, he's not real
thing
legible.
there,
I got
but
a
he's
couple
written
of
so
other
many
ones.
of 'em
I've got a
there, so.
couple of other ones, and they're not nearly as legible.
He was on
either.
Gayle King's CBS morning show, and he was joking that he can brag about being the oldest person to fly to space, but he said his actual motivation was to have the vision. I want to see space. I want to see the Earth. I want to see what we need to do to save Earth. So he has a good esoteric ideas up there, and we'll show a couple other things and a couple other quotes that he's talking
So
about
this
there.
this is the tweet from Blue Origin that I took a screen cap of. If you wanna
Yeah.
flip it to 4.
There you go.
It's a video. It's a short video. And in it he says, "What did I sent you that text message where he says
Yes.
he's gonna read it."
And as you're watching
very
Jessica there,
poignant.
you see how special she is because no, you're not watching the Invisible Girl, which you do have just enough invisibility there.
It's a
that's
little
cool there.
invisible. I could swap
Shatner
shirts.
said, "I will be," and this was another tweet. Doesn't he have one after this too?
Yeah, there's
yeah,
another.
There we go.
Yeah, those are his tweets.
And he's a big Twitter. He loves Twitter. You love Twitter. I like Twitter for sports. And when I'm on it, I get it. It's a lot of fun.
Mark's about to read his a quote that I plucked out of that video from Blue Origin that he retweeted. And it was so good.
I shall be entranced by the view of space. I want to look at that orb and appreciate its beauty and its tenacity. It's sustaining this life of ours, which allows us to look with awe and wonder at the miracle of space.
So I think he's really hyped.
Yeah,
I mean, he's kind of Bezos's +1.
Bezos is +1, really.
He's talking about, hey, are you going to tweet from space? Everybody's like, oh, I might have something in the works, and a lot of people are doing silly memes like this. We should
we should all dress like this when William Shatner returns to space.
I'm in for it.
I love
Let's
Planet of the Apes movies, of course. Can't get enough of Charlton Heston in that.
Sci-fact.
That's
real
right.
Close.
Sci-fact in there. Did you know that? There I went the wrong way again. Did you know that? We posted a great story from Collect Space. We love collectspace.com. Robert Perlman, that authors that, has been a very good supporter of our museum. And sorry to get you out of there.
No, get me out of there.
But Robert had on Collect Space a great story. You're not going to be able to buy any souvenirs from his flight.
No, they're not letting him take anything.
Any passenger, no, they're letting him take plenty of stuff. But they sign a contract when as a space passenger, you're not allowed to sell any of your things that you take to space. And it showed one of the men stuffing his duffel bag full of things. It used to be the PPK, personal
well,
kit
we know
that you
what Andy Allen said about that.
Yeah, right.
You got to get real creative to try to.
Astronaut Andy Allen, whose nickname is Top Gun is Slick, told us that he taped a few items to get creative to take things to space with you there. So Shatner's not going to be able to sell anything to anybody. So you Trekkies out there that are unloading your bank accounts, wanting their savings account to want to buy something from this, I think you're going to be disappointed. But I can't imagine there won't be some kind of commercial.
I think that there's going to be, from the foreshadowing from the tweets, I think that there's got to be some sort of post that's going to happen, some sort of special announcement. I'd follow Shatner and I'd follow Blue Origin and find out what's up tomorrow.
Can you preload Twitter things?
You can.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he could schedule it. Right. Yeah, just like
we can
schedule.
It's a big deal. 90-year-old man. We've got 2 90-year-old gentlemen every Thursday sitting what we call in the Liars Club, swapping, talking about their space history. And I don't think Jack or Murphy could go to space in their condition. So it is a tribute. And my mother's 89, so I can relate to this quite a bit about what they're doing. A couple other things here. A beautiful little collage there that we're looking at. Shatner said that, I know the lady that's going up, Audra Power, says she's going to spend most of her time looking out the window. And Shatner agreed, saying, I plan to be looking out the window with my nose pressed against the glass, like I was here earlier. And the only thing I don't want to see is a little gremlin looking back at me. And there we go.
Did the picture not load? Oh, no.
Where'd that go?
I can tinker with it.
We had a picture there to set up my joke there, Jessica. Let's
Well-
go through our whole gallery there. Yep,
It nixed out.
yep,
I'm not sure
it
what
nixed
happened.
out. Well, we had the picture of the Twilight Zone show.
It's on Facebook. Everybody saw it today.
And
It was
we
your
put it on
preview picture.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Him looking out and seeing the gremlin on the wing out there. So that didn't fly, but that's all right. But so he is thinking about that, and she said Audrey Powers said she doesn't know if she's more excited to go to space with Denny Crane or Captain Kirk, referring to Shatner's portrayal of a lawyer in the TV series Boston Legal. So when Star Trek started in 1966, Jessica, you weren't around.
I wasn't even a twinkle.
But get rid of that there. We had done the two-man Gemini spacecraft, all right, in 1966. About 7 of those 10 missions had been completed. This Star Trek was canceled after 3 seasons, but devoted fans turned it into a cult classic. NASA named its prototype space shuttle, like we said, Enterprise, and spin-off series, of course, were launched. Which the next generation
the
and
merch and the books
and
and the theories. I mean,
and Shatner starred in 7 of the 13 stories there. So we wish him well. We're of course 9:30 Eastern Daylight Time. I'm going to be watching.
I'm gonna be watching.
Is there
I don't
party on the internet for space?
A watch party,
for Star
probably.
Trekkies
I
to
think some
watch?
of my friends are gonna be together. The certain groups are doing it, but I think we're just all tuning into YouTube or Twitter, whichever one we tune into. Wherever Blue Origin's gonna go live, I only assume they're gonna go live on YouTube and possibly Twitter.
Yeah, it won't be NASA channel because there's no NASA participants in this. But I think you go to spaceflight.com, another one of our friendly partners, and they'll have the live feed
Absolutely
there.
link up to
But
that.
and it's fun to watch. We watched July 20th when the first crew went up with Wally Funk and Mr. Bezos himself and his brother, and that young 18-year-old went up there together. So it was cool to watch. You don't see them in the space flight in the capsule.
Well,
but as we will look out there, Jessica, it's got the largest windows of any space vehicle flown.
It's real
cool. He's going to
to
put something like this up on the New Glenn rocket that will be launching about 15 miles away from us at Cape Canaveral on Pad 36, and hopefully see that at the end of next year.
I'm sort of hoping that maybe they're gonna pull some strings and maybe do like a video or something from it, because that would be real cool. I just think that'd be amazing to see, Bezos and Shat and the other 2 crew members there in the capsule in some way. I don't know what the
Well, they got to have a GoPro stash somewhere.
Yeah, there's got to be something that I think there's some tricks up there.
And since you mentioned that, Jessica, right now, 10 humans are orbiting the Earth on the International Space Station, and they might be filming a movie right now as we speak, because 2 of them, a well-known Russian actress, as well known as any American actress, is up there as a surgeon on a movie. There is a complete set in the Nauka science lab that Russia put up about less than 2 months ago, and in a section of that is a film studio with lights and so forth like that.
This?
Part of the script is doing saving a cosmonaut's life by surgery in space. So this is happening as we speak. William Shatner, an actor, 90 years old, is going to reach the edge of space.
I
And
hope he
look out
doesn't
like
need
we're
a
looking out
doctor.
here.
I hope he doesn't need a doctor.
Well, he'll be back in 10 minutes. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they got quite a medic thing there.
Up and
And
down.
of course, the oldest American to go to space and orbit the Earth was John Glenn at age 77 in 1995, I believe. So these boundaries are being pushed and going to be pushed. And like Shatner says in one of his quotes, let me see if I can pull out one of his quotes real quick that I may still had there. It alluded to, look at how far we have come. All right, look at how far we've come, not in 61 years of human spaceflight, but just in the last 3 years.
Even that. Yeah.
May 2020 was when Bezos launched the first humans to space by a private company. So we're not even 2 years away from that. And look what's happening. Our clicker is like a clicking off the number of people going to space.
You're gonna be changing that number real fast. We're gonna have to make a graphic.
and we'll glad that you're here with us, Jessica. Marty Winkle, who was involved with the lunar module in the Grumman era of building the Apollo era, not the Grumman era, the Grumman lunar module in the Apollo era. He thinks we should call these Karmanauts. Karman is the name of the line after a physicist that said 100 kilometers is about where the edge of space is. They're going to about 55 miles, but I think it's good to maybe not call them astronauts, but Karmanauts to distinguish their suborbital
Orbit
flights.
equals astronaut.
And the 4 civilians that orbited the Earth for 3 days, no doubt in my mind, they can walk around and say, I was an astronaut.
I think so.
I'm not going to take anything away from these space travelers tomorrow, and we hope they have a fun...
Space is space.
Space is space, and they're going to see the edge of it just like we're looking out there, Jessica. So
I'd be smashed up against the window, fogging it all up.
That's right. Well, we will be doing that with Shatner tomorrow, and tomorrow we're going to have another Stay Curious program for you about some space history and what's up in the sky. We got some gorgeous 3 planets to look at, and the moon. So you want to get out there and get you a little moonshine. Like I always say, you can't get too much of that kind of moonshine. And until tomorrow, on behalf of Jessica here and Marty Winkle, what do we say? We'll see you tomorrow to bridge the space between us.
Live long and prosper.